culture. Black culture is toxic. The black culture is toxic. We have produced a culture that is toxic.
And this is why I say black people are the most racist people in American history.
Other blacks killing black.
Black people feel safer amongst each other, but they're more likely to kill each other.
What percentage of murders do blacks commit in America? What percentage of blacks have a father around when they're raped? Black community.
Black people.
Downfall of the black family.
Why does American conservatism have a raging hard-on for anti-blackness? More importantly, why are so many of the people who are anti-black, black people themselves? I'm going to do my best to give you a bit of historical background about what's going on here and why you see this so prevalent among conservatives, but then I'm also going to try to answer some of the questions that you commonly hear them asking. So because I have a limited amount of time for what I can say, I want you to keep my central thesis in mind. American conservatism is white supremacy politics.
What percentage of murders do blacks commit in America?
The first common talking point that we hear among lots of conservatives today is that black people have like a inherent racial predisposition to killing and crime. And a lot of people who encounter this kind of rhetoric don't really know how to respond to it. Because the myth of black inferiority is so normalized in American society, it makes it very easy to believe that these people have a convincing case. It turns out that race is actually not a useful predictor of crime or murder or anything like that. Poverty is. So why aren't we talking about poverty? In order to respond to a claim that black people commit more crime or more murders, you would have to understand history. Why did Irish, Italian, and Jewish immigrants in the US once have higher crime rates than everybody else? There are several resources one could reference around Irish Americans carrying a stereotype in which they were drunkards, they were violent, and they had a habit of engaging in organized crime before they were considered to be white. In the case of Italian Americans, there was this ongoing stereotype about them being involved in high sophisticated organized crime. Even stereotypes about Jews. Why is nobody talking about that as if it is a white problem? A synthesis of all of these books about Americans being criminals, drug peddlers, violent offenders comes from this idea that crime and violence was actually a function of poverty. These groups were stigmatized at one point in history in the same way that black people are currently being stigmatized by American conservative rhetoric. But the problem is still much deeper than that. An important question to ask would be if this function of crime and murder is really about culture, then why do we see poor white communities committing the same patterns of violence and crime? American conservatism is white supremacy politics.